Well, I was so excited. For a while I've been wanting to work with animals, and all the other places I've tried to volunteer, I'd have to wash the cage and do all this, and I really didn't have much hands-on with animals that I wanted to have hands-on with, and I found this place called the Ark, and it happened in the course of a few weeks. I found out about the orientation. I had 2 weeks till that. I went to the orientation. They said, well, we might not, there's a lot of people here. We're not going to get a chance to pick all of you, but thank you for coming. And then I remember I got the phone call while I was at work, and I was just hopping up and down because they chose me to volunteer for them, and I was just so excited. It was the best thing that had happened to me in such a very, very long time, and I get to feed baby birds and handle birds. I go out to feed them, and I come outside to feed the fledglings that are sort of on their way to being released, and they come. I have what they call a Snow White moment, where the birds flock. They actually land on my head. These wild birds that you wouldn't even dream of handling, and I get to handle them, and I have bluebirds and blue jays and everything flocking to me, so it's great.
The first moment that comes to mind is hang gliding for the first time. I had to sign all these release forms that they weren't responsible for any accidents, and I remember thinking, I will go 1,500 feet in the air, tandem flight, and 2,000 feet is just too high. But really it was a difference of 500 miles. And basically we had the training, and then I got hooked up into this harness, and I had an instructor below me who was very casual. He was wearing flip-flops, and just, I'm like, wow, we're going to be up in the air flying. And so we taxied down the runway, a regular small airport runway in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. And I could feel like this leap in my stomach that we were about to take off, and I had never experienced anything like this, being just out in the elements with no protection of a seat or being in a plane. Here I was in a glider, and we took up, we lifted off, and within like 30 seconds we're above the field, and we could see like the ocean on one side, the bay on the other, and fields below us, and it was like the most magical feeling. I would have stayed up there for hours, and the instructor said, why don't you fly the hang glider? So if I wanted to go right, I just pulled my body to the right. If I wanted to go left, I pulled my body to the left. And it was just the most quiet, exciting moment of my life.
My origin moment was I had just given birth to my first daughter, Juliet, and it was a day after I had her, I think. I realized I didn't have enough baby toys and stuff to keep her occupied. I didn't know what it was like to really have a baby at home, so I drove out to get toys for her, and on the way home I just all of a sudden had this enormous sense of responsibility, but in a good way, and just kind of like joy, but just like, it's hard to explain, like a peaceful joy inside that, wow, I'm the most important person in somebody's life. Like, no matter what happens from now on, like, she's gonna need me no matter what. So all of a sudden I just felt like a mother bird, and that she was like my baby bird, and she was waiting at home, and like I got this huge urgency to just get home and be with her, and she kind of gave me that feeling of purpose that I needed at that point in life, I think, to realize I could be such a big influence in somebody's life.
The origin represents the reason why we take the quest. We return to a time when anything's possible. We're limitless. We have infinite potential. But then somewhere along the line, we hit our first roadblock. In the next portion of this episode, we are going to explore the dark side of a quest, otherwise known as the shadow. This portion of Destiny 5 is brought to you by LiveYourPeace.com. Live your peace, get your dreams out of the drawer, and make it happen.